Hello and welcome on my second streaming for Terra Aquatica. I'm Thomas CapsulaVerde. I've worked a long time for Terra Aquatica with their product as a user and also at the beginning when they came in Europe to start as General Hydroponics Europe. I answered a lot of technical questions for France and Europe. I also had a grow shop, so I met a lot of growers, and for several years now, I'm working also in full feed in agroecological cultivation technique, mostly on legal hemp, but also on fruit trees and other stuff on my field or in France or in Europe. So I've prepared a little short presentation about microorganism and how we can install it in soil, also in off-ground conditions, and also in hydroponics condition. Okay, why microbiota? Why is it important to have a microorganism in our cultivation? First, um, we know now that with industrial agriculture, uh, we have some limits. That means that it was at the beginning easy to think that processing agriculture in ground is more simple when you just artificialize everything, put a lot of mineral nutrient, and uncover the crops and just start from zero every time, no biodiversity, and so on. So now the limit is that we must put more and more in soil. And recently, the scientists are more interested now in studying the effect of microorganism in soil and how biodiversity can help to use less resources. The thing is that nature is well done, and the plant and microorganism have they have evolved together. So everything is done. You will see that everything is done in soil between plant roots and the microorganism to make cohabitation. So this is a cohabitation with mutual benefits. I want to show you that microorganism will share and process the resources, which means that if there is organic matters, even if there is mineral around, also for water, oxygen, CO2, everything is made to to be beneficial to the roots, and it's also a reverse process between the roots and the microbiotes, which means that the roots are also helping the microorganism to be wealthy and installed around the roots. Also, we have observed a lot of benefits against pathogenics. That means that the beneficial microorganisms are protecting their resources. So that means they will protect the immediate environment of the roots, which is good, for example, against Fusarium and Pythium. There are several factors very important that can be that we can use as a leverage more easily when we work off ground. But when we know how important these factors are and why they are important, it's more easy to create the right environment for this microorganism in ground, off ground, or hydroponics. For me, most important are temperature and water, of course. Oxygen is very important too, because these little organisms are living organisms, so they need oxygen to live. And the specificity of this one are they eat carbon. They are not photosynthetic, so they need to eat carbon. This can be carbon from decomposition of cellulose, or everything that they can decompose it will help, and nitrogen also, because life is also about amino acid, so it needs to be there, and also part of calcium, because as a user in ground, I've observed that when I work on what we call an acidic soil with very, very low level of calcium in it, decomposition of organic matter is slower. So in my case, I use chalk to put a little bit of calcium to help mostly the mushroom to install and digest the cellulose. And if we work in hydroponics, for example, or above ground, we have to take care about salinity too, because high EC will can be damaging to them, and pH, of course, always. pH will have an interaction on their development, even if these microorganisms are very adaptive, but they have a little range where they are optimal, the beneficial one, and because nature is well done, it's the same as the optimal condition for the roots. You will see that it's between the roots and microorganism, they share the same ideal, optimal condition in terms of temperature, water, oxygen, and pH than the microorganism. So if you have a good condition for your plant, I mean the root system, the right temperature, the water is enough, to not too much, to not have asphyxia, and the right oxygen level, and the pH, which should be between 6 and 8. 5.5 will work also. You will apply a selective environment which will let beneficial more chance to install than the bad one. For example, if you put trichoderma in your system, it will work very well to protect the place from fusarium and pythium. But if the temperature in the nutrient solution or around the roots is more than 30 degrees, which can happen in a greenhouse in full summer, then fusarium and pythium start to be more competitive than trichoderma. Of course, trichoderma will, and streptomyces will pass a little bit more in temperature and can defend and prevent from pythium and fusarium a little bit in higher temperature. Sorry. This is an exchange between plants and microorganisms. This means that the plant will modify the environment around their roots. This is the rhizosphere. This little area all around the roots and the micro roots. Exudates are generated by the plants, which means that the plants give sugar. In resume, it gives sugar, and sometimes even they give amino acid to the microorganism, to the environment, and then it attracts bacteria and fungi in this area. So the plant will modify this chemically. It will give sugar, and also it will. The plants are also a little bit rising the temperature around the roots, and modify the pH also. The plant are really, when the plant is healthy, uh, the plant is generating a good environment around the roots in the rhizosphere to attract and protect the microorganism. And the microorganisms are also modifying the environment, digesting the carbon all around, creating resource for the plant. This means that this influence of microorganism can be decomposing the organic matter, and then the mineral will be accessible to the plant, but also like oxidation, fermentation, chelate, to let the plant have all this. And also, this microorganism will help um, to keep the water around the rhizosphere, which is good for the plant and for the microorganism. And also, because this, for example, the mushroom will make mycelium very far away from the plant and are able to take minerals or organic matter from a remote environment and bring it to the part around the rhizosphere. So it's really an advantage in every kind of cultivation technique. Strategy in open ground. So this was a project in on a sandy soil. That means very low calcium and very low minerals because of cultivation, and also so I had to bring a lot of organic material, mulching to protect the organic material, and a possibility also is to create a plant cover on all these mulching and organic materials. To all this is to create the best condition for the microorganism to install, which means water should be always available, and the temperature, even in summer, should not rise. This is why mulching and plant cover are very, very efficient. Last year, I tested the temperature above the mulch and under the mulch, just to see how it evolves. For example, on a 24-hour schedule, you can see that it's really more stable under the mulch. This means that, for example, for early plantation, I have more success. Also, here I didn't put organic matter under the mulch, but when you put organic matter under the mulch, because the microorganism will eat this organic matter, this organism will produce a lot of heat, and this can be really an advantage in spring, early spring. For example, to have the 20 degrees Celsius under the mulch, which is very, very optimal for the root system. And here, this is an infrared temperature appareil. So you can see the temperature on a bare ground, the ground. So it's above the ground, and in full summer, 30 degrees on the ground. If I put mulch, because it's an insulating material, the temperature will be a little bit lower. And if I put a plant cover, it's here it's fern. The shadow of the fern will drop the temperature, and then I'm between around 22 degrees instead of 30 degrees. This is good for everyone, microorganism and the roots under the mulch and the plant cover. When I work off ground, I like to to inoculate the microorganism directly in the during the sowing period in the little plug, even in rock wool or in cocoa fiber. I really like the cocoa fiber. On the table, you can see the trichoderma, trichologic, and streptomyces, and a little more diversity in the other bag. So I use one or the other just for my sowing, and then also a little bit again in irrigation during the nursery period in pot, and also when I transplant it in bigger pot. This is good to inoculate again, maybe every 4 or 6 weeks, just to make the population diversity always optimal. I mean that the first inoculation will generate a population adapted to the environment, the environmental condition when you inoculate, which outdoor it can be, for example, early spring, so it's cold, it's humid, and so on. You have a part of this population will develop, and some will die or evolve differently. Then 4 or 6 weeks after, you put again, and you will help to have diversity again, and to prevent sort of consanguinity, but also to have more diversification in possibility of this microorganism to adapt to the new condition, which can be end of spring, more warm, less more dry, and so on. So and indoor it's nearly the same reason why we do this, because even if you have stable temperature, stable condition, what is happening in your cultivation container, in your pot, will change the environmental condition for this microorganism. So at the beginning you have nearly no roots, then you have a lot of roots in a little pot, then you transplant, and this will you have to colonize the bigger pot, and so on. So you have difference in space, pH, temperature, and so on. Everything will change a little bit, so it's good to re-inoculate regularly. Next up. Inoculation with the fertile irrigation is a good choice because it's easy. If you want to prepare something really in advance, like compost tea, it's possible. It's always a good idea. With trichoderma, streptomyces, and so on, you just have to put it in your fertile irrigation, irrigate, and it will colonize your substrate. In off-ground, in ground, in natural cultivation, I don't use external microorganism, or rarely, because I think that the environmental where the plant are, the ground is when it's not an ancient, when it has not been for example, an agro-industrial cultivation, when it's a little bit natural, you already have a lot of microorganisms, and they are adapted to this environment. So I prefer always to think this as less disturbed, and just observe, or push a little bit in the way of beneficial, for example, with the mulch and so on. And when you put organic matter, you also bring a little bit of microorganism. But for example, on the sandy soil project, it was a very poor The analysis showed us that it was very poor, and so we used biochar inoculated with EM in February to prepare the soil, and then we have put in the same time the organic matter and the mulch on it. Of course, when you work on inert substrate like cocoa, rock wool, or even with commercial soil, which are often just turf and cocoa and perlite and organic matter, but pre-digested. It's interesting to put microorganism. If you like to work like with living soil, I suggest a bigger container to have more inertia, and you can bring your some of the microorganism. You can bring it with commercial one because they are very concentrate and you have fast results. And you can also bring them with a little bit of wood compost and things like this, and you will bring beneficial organism. This is sorry. So just 1 week ago, I restarted my outdoor system because maybe spring is coming, and this. In France, in French, it's a mash, but I don't know the name. It's a little salad. Don't need a lot of things, but it was a very old nutrient solution, not working all the winter. The plant was there, and I received some sample from Terra Aquatica, this new dry organic part. And so 1 week ago, I put it in the tank, in the old solution, because I know that my microorganism are over there, and I started again. I like also to when I work on this one on the growth stream, it's a good idea to use a biofilter because there is not so much there is sometimes no substrate for the microorganism to start the colonization. So the biofilter, which is the little black tank on the left, will be the home of the microorganism. This place will protect the microorganism, help the population to be stable and to reproduce. Inside you have a pump and an optimal substrate, microporous, to let them colonize. And then if you want to empty your tank, for example, because you had a problem, or you want to make a change of balance, a radical change of balance of nutrient, and you have to empty the tank, you know that you have a reserve of the population of microorganism in this biofilter. At the beginning, it helps to colonize, and during the culture, it will help to protect. And but of course, this microorganism will digest your nutrient solution from the tank to the biofilters, and to the biofilter to the plant. But you have also this microorganism will be installed in all the roots after 2-3 weeks. When you have a lot of roots, all the microorganisms are also working over there and stable. There are biofilters from the commerce, but it's easy also to make a DIY biofilter, just like, for example, using a textile pot with clay pebbles and cocoa fiber. Cocoa fiber, one quart and 3/4 of clay people will work. Then you put this bag under. For this system, it's easy to put it above the water, of course, suspended under the drain. The drain of the system, and on other kind of system, if you don't have this possibility to put it under the drain tube, then just suspend it over the nutrient solution and put a little aquarium pump in your tank to make it circulate on this substrate. And this is the other. This is one of the growth stream outdoor. I let them. I do a lot of crash tests. That's my favorite test. So I let the system, the Terra Aquatica system, all the year outdoor with UV and winter condition and so on. And I let the plant also. So these are some plants trying to survive all the winter. They did it. I didn't start the system for maybe 2 months and started again 1 week ago because I plan to put some seeds in the empty hole, of course, and starting it a little bit in advance will help the microorganism to recolonize the place and take oxygen again and so on. So I let it a little bit circulate with the new microorganisms, and I will put my seeds next week. I would be happy to answer to question. I can see that there are a lot of comment in the chat, and I will just try to read some, and somebody will transfer me the question because I'm not already good enough to make 2 things with my brain. I hope you enjoy. This video will be I think it's at 8 o'clock available again on the YouTube Terra Aquatica place, and also there will be a link to a little question, a list of questions that if you answer, you also participate to a little game to win some products from Terra Aquatica. For this occasion of webinar, they send me a little box with product related to microorganism, of course, and also what I like to use when I use microorganism and how I cultivate. So, of course, you have the trichologic, which is trichoderma. Very good. Very. What I like with trichoderma is there is only one thing in it, and when I work in pot or in hydroponics, I've always seen that it's efficient and it's installed very strongly. That means that if there is a big variation of temperature or the dry or even a little pollution, it will resist to a lot of things and protect a lot against pythium and fusarium, and also it will help to clean all the dead roots which are attracting the pathogenic, and to remobilize the nutrients which could be blocked in your system. You have also this one. Streptologic is Streptomyces plus a diversity of microorganisms, so it's a more complex mix. It means that this will have a little bit more effect, but also it will resist to and adapt to more environmental conditions. For example, if you have a hot summer, problem with warm in your roots and so on, it will resist and it will act more strongly. Of course, these products and all the microorganisms, they are protecting against pathogenic. It's a really a better idea to put them before to have problem than when you have problem, of course. So these are the, I don't know if you already have seen the new label for the organic line. So this is still the same good product, Grow and Bloom in Pro-Organic. This one is also really related to this presentation because microorganisms, they really love carbon, and humic, liquid humic is full of carbon. This is the black juice you can find in, for example, in a forest, in a humus, in a humic soil. This black juice under it is full of carbon and attracts all the beneficial microorganisms. It has also other properties because it's also indicating to the plant that there are a lot of stuff to eat around. So the micro roots are starting the plant are starting to produce more and more micro roots, so more access to nutrition. Seaweed is very good. In my opinion, it's the best to use it by spraying the plant. It's about shortening the internode, more axillar coming out, and also the plant will produce will produce more strategy it's about defense system. The plant will have more immunity. It's an extract of algae containing this algae, this cold juice of algae contain a lot of natural phytohormone and also elicitor. Fulvic acid. So this is a more advanced work from humic to fulvic. You need more time to produce this, and this is the molecule of fulvic is is shorter. More accessible to the plant, more direct. You can use it spraying the plant or giving it to the roots. I use it for a long time. It's like a use rain for the plant. It works very well. And they put me some gift for me. I have to thank them. Root and Bloom Booster. I'm sure that you know them. And also the one in concentrated version, always organic, I love. So there is a little difference in formula. That means this one is diluted. I use mostly the concentrated one because of practicity, but both are really effective. And I would like to make a serious little comparative test to see which one would win in my condition. And this I asked them also, just because I told you that not always, of course. You maybe you have hard water, maybe you have very calcium soil. No need to put calcium again, but sometimes you need a little bit. For example, cocoa fiber will take a little bit of it. Of course, if there is already enough in your nutrients, you don't need more. But sometimes it's good. And if you work with microorganism in organic condition, for example, on cocoa with organic nutrient, it's good to put a little bit of calcium to help. Okay, now if I just check if there is some question, and I try to answer. So how does silicate react with microorganisms? Very, very good question. Um, uh, in my opinion, silicate will one of the main action of silicate is that it will help the plant to make more stronger cell wall, and it will prevent the pathogenic to enter the plant and to cause problem. So you will have stronger cells, and it will help. It modifies also a little bit the environment, and the microorganism, the pathogenic one, we observe that they don't like. But mainly, in my opinion, silicate is enforcing the roots, the stem, even the leaves. So this is a good product. I've tested it. To avoid problem with Fusarium and Pythium in the rooting zone, and also just above the ground on the stem, and also on the leaves. For example, against oidium or botrytis, for example. Silicates in aerial on the aerial part, if you put it on the leaves, for example, it will help the plant to have stronger cells, but also it will dry this place, and that's why botrytis or oidium will have more problem to colonize. Next question I have here: if pH is too low or high, is it a problem for the microorganisms? There is a part of the pH scale which is ideal for the beneficial organism, for the one which are interesting us to optimize the plant growth. As I said, well, the plants like something between 5.5 to 8.5. It works for them, because it's also where the nutrients and the minerals are the more dissolved and accessible, available for the plant, and because nature is well done, the beneficial microorganisms are also optimal in these conditions. For sure, you have some fungi, bacteria which are beneficial, which will survive to pH of 9 and to pH of 4. But if you want to have the maximum optimal balance of population around the roots, it's good to stay in this range of 6.8, 6 to 8. For sure, 6, 8. We have observed when Terra Aquatica started to work on biopony that we have had better results between 7 and 8 with their pro-organic, for example, in a grow stream or in a even grow. We don't low the pH to 5, 6. We let it go to 7, 8. The microorganism seems to work better like this. If I work with tripart, for example, in a mineral condition, in hydroponics, I will stay around 6. It's good for the plant, and Trichoderma, Streptomyces work very well. Even I've done some tests 5, and sometimes because of some problem, it drops 4.5, and the microorganism didn't present any problem with this. But too low or too high, yes, more stable condition, more happy microorganism, and plants will be more happy too. Is it possible to add peroxide in reservoir water, or does it kill the microorganisms? This was a question I wanted to answer. Thank you, because I've seen that on the French stream, this question was in comments. Peroxide, the problem with peroxide is that when you put it in water, the action will last more than 24 hours, and also it will uh, if you use microorganism, I think there is no use to start to kill everything before to put the microorganism, or you have to do it maybe 1 week before, because peroxide, the oxidation will last, and also it can be a problem to the plant. When your system is working and the plants are growing, and you think that you have a problem and you want to put peroxide in your tank, then you will cause a lot of damage to your microorganism, and you can also do damage to the plant, because this oxidation will also act on the roots and micro roots, and also on the nutrients. And this damage on the micro roots can be little doors open to the pathogenic. So, in my opinion, the use of peroxide should be, for example, to clean system when it's empty, or in a case of last chance solution, when really it's a matter of how we say benefits and risk. If there is more risk of problem with or without, and always think that concentrated enzyme and peroxide will have also interaction with the root system and with the microorganism. So always take care to calculate the benefits and risks. So yes, peroxide will interact. In my opinion, if you don't have a real big problem, no use, especially if you have beneficial microorganism in your nutrient solution. Another question is adjusting the pH of the water. So the question is if adjusting the pH of the water could be harmful for microorganism. Yes and no. If it's only adjusting, for example, you have 5 and you go to 6, or you have 8 and you go to 7, it's not really a problem. In my opinion, we should see all these plant and microorganism collaboration and system like a balance, and we don't want to disturb this balance. And if we have to put influence on it, we should be soft. We should do it with a little bit of time, less radical than when we do something totally inert and we change everything really straight. For example, you can start to, if it's a big problem with pH, for example, you have 9 and you want to go to 7, start in the morning to modify a little bit, and end of the day again a little bit. Then you have a more slow change, and the population of microorganisms, they are reproducing every minute, every second, always a lot. So every factor you are modifying, if you modify it not too quickly, they have time to produce to reproduce, adapting to the situation. If you do it radically very quick, then the population will not have enough time to adapt. So it's just a matter of time. That in 24 hours or 2 days, it's possible to do a lot of things, of course. But so modifying the pH is not really a problem if it's from 1 or 2 point of pH modification, but it has to be just a little bit soft. It's like for the temperature and also for the dryness. If you are in pot and manual, for example, manual irrigation, and it's wet for 1 week, and in 1 day everything is dry because you forgot, not good. But if it dries slowly, the population will have time to make to securize some to have a strategy of securization, and it can restart after. So it's just a matter of not disturbing the populations and do it softly. Sorry, technical again. Okay. I love affirmation. This is not a question. I will read it. Silica helps the microorganisms and the rhizosphere of the soil, and humic and fulvic and seaweed is like steroid for plants. Well, something like this, especially maybe seaweed because of the phytohormone. Yes, could be comparable. And if you mean if that it's really boosting the plant, yes, seaweed you will see results. I don't spray with seaweed more than one time every 1 week or 10 days. Every 10 days I prefer, because if I put more spraying, I see that the plant wants to do so much micro division of the buds that it's too it starts to be too much for the plants, so it blocks a little bit. So one time every week, one time every 10 days is good. Fulvic, humic, no problem. Especially fulvic. Fulvic can be every day. I do it 2 or 3 times per day, spraying, and in every nutrient solution. I prefer to use fulvic if it's in the nutrient solution. I prefer to use fulvic when it's growth stream and NFT and hydroponie, because I prefer my nutrient solution if I work in mineral, to be clear and to know, to really see it, because if you put humic, you will have a black nutrient solution and it's difficult to see if there is a problem. If I work on cocoa fiber in ebb and grow or manual irrigation, I use both, and humic is giving more resistance to dryness, and it will change the structure of your soil. It will help the water to expand and reach every part of the pot. So yes, it's very good. Last question, I think. You say to use synonym streptologic before having problem. Yes. So I said that streptologic so it's better to install the population before problem than after. Streptologic, trichoderma, or other. It is preventive against pathogenic. So it's good to put it. I prefer to put it in early sowing, when I put my seeds in a plug of. I use cocoa, but if it's a rockwool plug, it will work also. You will inoculate it in these little plugs, and these plugs will be a source of inoculation of the next place where you will plant it. So it's good to to inoculate the sowing plug, and also to put again when you transplant it in bigger pot or in your definitive system, for example. Another question. I use final part and bloom booster, but since it is made from plant material, I don't know if it has triacontanol. For me, it will. I need to check a little bit, so I will try to answer to this after studying this question. I don't know. Maybe I think I've seen already this question, and I think I've already answered it 1 or 2 years ago, but I don't remember what I said. So I prefer to let you know later, maybe in the comment. Okay, I think. Did I answer to everyone? So if if it's good, it's good. This streaming and video will be accessible after 8 p.m. Today. And so with Terra Aquatica, I will do another streaming in March and maybe every month with other subjects. The one in March, I will try to be seasonal. So in March, I will show some tips to make a good sowing. What are the limiting factors? On what we can work to have good seedlings and nice plants to go to cultivate in spring and so on. So I hope to see you in March, and thank you for watching me and for your question. And don't forget that there is a link in the description, and maybe you receive it in message. These links, then you can comment a little bit, say if you liked it or not. I appreciate any good advice to make it better. And even if you have idea on subject that could interest you, it can bring something also. Thank you. Bye.